Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a massive multi-trillion-dollar question. Is China on the verge of taking over the global semiconductor industry? You see headlines everywhere, a tech cold war, a race for chip supremacy. But what's really happening behind the scenes? Let's break it down. First, why all the fuss about these tiny pieces of silicon? Well, semiconductors, or chips, are the brains of everything. Your phone, your car, your coffee maker, the data centers that run the internet, even advanced military hardware, they all depend on chips. The country that controls the chip supply chain basically holds the keys to the 21st century global economy and national security. It's that simple, and that's why this is such a big deal. For decades, the semiconductor industry has been a story of global cooperation. A chip might be designed in California, using software from Europe, fabricated on machines from the Netherlands and Japan, using materials from Korea, and then assembled and tested in Malaysia or Taiwan. It's a beautiful, complex dance of global specialization. The United States has historically dominated the high-end design and software part of this dance, with companies like NVIDIA, AMD, and Intel. Meanwhile, a Dutch company, ASML, has a complete monopoly on the extreme ultraviolet, or EUV, lithography machines needed to make the most advanced chips. And, of course, there's Taiwan's TSMC, the world's undisputed champion of manufacturing these cutting-edge chips for everyone else. So, where does China fit into this picture? For years, China has been the world's largest consumer of chips, but it's been heavily reliant on imports. Think of it like being the world's biggest foodie, but not knowing how to cook. To change this, Beijing launched a massive national strategy, encapsulated in plans like Made in China 2025. The goal? To achieve self-sufficiency in critical technologies. With semiconductors at the very top of the list, China has poured, and continues to pour, hundreds of billions of dollars into building up its domestic chip industry. They've been trying to catch up by investing in domestic foundries, design firms, and equipment manufacturers. And they have made some impressive progress, no doubt about it. Companies like SMIC, China's largest chip maker, have managed to produce chips that are just a few generations behind the absolute cutting edge. They've become very competitive in producing what are called legacy or mature node chips. These aren't the super advanced chips in the latest iPhone, but they are the workhorses found in cars, home appliances, and industrial sensors. China is actually on track to dominate this segment of the market, which is a huge and profitable sector in its own right. Last year, we saw a surprise when Huawei released its Mate 60 Pro smartphone, which contained a surprisingly advanced 7nm chip made by SMIC. These sent shockwaves through the industry, because it was a level of technology many thought was out of China's reach due to international restrictions. This brings us to the biggest hurdle facing China: access to cutting-edge technology. The United States and its allies, including Japan and the Netherlands, have implemented a series of stringent export controls. These are designed specifically to prevent China from acquiring the tools and technology needed to produce the most advanced chips, specifically those below 7nm. The most critical piece of this puzzle is SML's EUV lithography machine. These machines are the size of a city bus, cost over $200 million each, and are considered one of the most complex pieces of machinery ever built by humans. Making next-generation chips at scale is currently impossible, and China can't buy them. So, China is essentially trying to run a marathon with one leg tied. While it's making huge strides in the legacy chip space and showing surprising ingenuity in pushing existing technology, like DUV lithography, to its limits, the gap at the very high end remains significant. The challenge isn't just about a single machine, it's about an entire ecosystem. It's about the specialized chemicals, the precision lenses, the advanced software for designing chips, and decades of accumulated know-how and expertise. You can't just throw money at this problem and expect an overnight solution. It takes years, even decades, of painstaking research, development, and trial and error. The rest of the world isn't standing still either. TSMC, Samsung, and Intel are all racing ahead, investing billions to build the next generation of chip-nanometer and even smaller chips. So, what's the verdict? Will China take over the chip industry? The answer is more nuanced than a simple yes or no. In the world of mature and legacy chips, China is not just a competitor. It's on a path to become a dominant force. This will have major implications for global supply chains in industries like automotive and consumer electronics, FEV. However, when it comes to the absolute cutting edge, the chips that will power the future of AI supercomputing and advanced communications, the road is much, much harder. The technological and geopolitical barriers are immense. China is playing a long game. It is determined to build its own ecosystem from the ground up, even if it means reinventing the wheel. They are investing heavily in R&D for their own lithography machines and other critical equipment, too. It's a monumental task, and success is far from guaranteed. But underestimating their determination and resources would be a mistake. For the rest of the world, this new era of chip competition means a major reshuffling of the deck. We're seeing a global push for reshoring or friendshoring chip production, with the US, Europe, and Japan all offering massive subsidies to build new fabs on their own soil. The goal is to reduce reliance on any single country and create more resilient supply chains. So, instead of a complete takeover by one nation, the future of the chip industry might look less like a globalized village and more like a series of fortified regional blocks, each striving for a degree of self-sufficiency. So, to sum it up, China is becoming a powerhouse in a huge part of the chip market. But the crown, for the most advanced technology, is still firmly held by the established players, protected by a wall of export controls. The race is on, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. The outcome will reshape our technological future for decades to come. What do you think? Will China manage to break through the technological blockade, or will the gap at the high end remain? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm really curious to hear your perspective. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful and want more deep dives into the tech that shapes our world, please hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss our next video. See you in the next one.